This session is Roof for Our Heads Response to Resilience, and I'm Siddhi Mehta. I'm the technical analyst to the ROO campaign at Spark, and I'll be moderating today's session. So, before we dive in, I like to take a moment just to establish some ground rules on our discussion. Uh, yeah, so we would like you to introduce yourself over the chat box and post the questions, whatever you have during the session. You can use the raise hand feature to to ask questions while the Q&A session is on, and you'll be unmuted during that. We also request all of the speakers and the participants to keep your cameras and videos on at the end of the session to take a picture. Uh, Also, we will be recording the session, as you see that. So this video can be used for dissemination purposes. So uh, we have we have a lot of speakers with diverse backgrounds, and including grassroots initiatives and organizations who are key partners in the ROO campaign. Uh, while not all of them could be here live due to prior commitments, so they have shared their provided their recordings to share their insights. Uh, can you share the third slide? So to begin with, I would like to invite Sheila Patel, who needs no introduction. She's the founder director of Spark, the co-founder of SDI, and global ambassador for Race to Resilience and Race to Zero. So she is the inspiration behind the campaign, and she chairs this campaign. So Sheila, yes, over to you.
So thank you so much, and a good day to all of you. We want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for giving us an hour of your time on a Sunday afternoon. And what we are hoping to do, because we got lots of apologies that they couldn't come because it was a Sunday and they had other commitments, we have decided that we would record this, share all the videos that we have so that we are on top of what we're doing. So today's session, we hope, serves several purposes. First, as people deeply committed to the concept of the Gobeshona movement, as I call it, and being there very strongly as representatives of the ROO campaign, we see that our collective commitment to including and designing and facilitating a process that addresses serious climate challenges for very poor communities, that Roof Over Our Heads seeks to fulfill our multiple obligations of designing solutions that communities drive, that women in those communities anchor, to bring professionals with deep commitment to work with them, not for them, and to negotiate solutions which require the participation of cities, of professionals, of financing institutions, and architects, planners, designers, and so on. So, as you all may or may not know, the first part of last year, most of last year, went in developing a mechanism by which community women and professionals learned together how to make an assessment of the existing house of community residents agreeing to work with us. And we worked in 9 cities in about 17 locations. And we have a documentation that's available. It can be put on the net for those who want to look at it. Today, we celebrate an event that has excited all of us, which is the exploration of what we call the second phase of our learning labs, in which, based on the knowledge that we have, we begin to explore how we co-produce solutions that emerge from what communities are doing and know, and what alternate possibilities we can look within the bandwidth of what they can do, can afford to do, and that works for them. We're also celebrating our commitment to the accountability we all feel towards Salimul Haq, our friend and mentor, whose work on adaptation, resilience, loss and damage has been foundational for the work that we do. And we look for ways by which we hope that our philosophy, our methodology, and our ways of working demonstrate, as I said in the opening of Gobeshona 2 days ago, the LLA principles, the locally led adaptation principles of action, financing, and delivery in ways that puts all of us together in the same space. And whether you are a global player or a local player, your voices are part of identifying the problems, finding the solutions, and scaling it up to a level that it becomes the new normal. So I thank you all for being here. Many of you hopefully will see the video of this process. Thank you, ICAD and Fatim. And back to you, Siddhi.
Yeah. So we would like to share some of Sheila's so far what she has achieved during the campaign. So can you share it, Neha? Yeah.
It's important for every person in this planet to acknowledge that everybody needs to adapt to produce resilience for themselves, their family, their neighborhood, their city, because you cannot protect yourself alone. And the irony of this process, especially for those of us who live in the global south, is that more than 30 to 50% of people who live in our cities, in a planet which is now 55% urban, live informally. They are below the radar in everybody's eyes, although they are your critical consumers whom you don't count in the same way, because they are at the bottom of the famous pyramid. But the thing that we're trying to do is to make them not just recipients and beneficiaries and poor people, but serious actors and demand creators for the change we all need to make. And nobody has stakes more than they do, because their security cover is so little. They live in difficult circumstances, they earn inadequate incomes, they have very little mobility, and their homes are in very difficult conditions. So the campaign that we have started is called Roof Over Our Heads. What we are trying to do is to develop a locally driven, community-based, women-centered process where women work with the construction industry, the construction material industry, the people who design homes, engineers, architects, and explore ways by which they learn to transform their homes from the present survival situation to one that can survive extreme heat, extreme cold, extreme wind, and extreme rain, which is what is happening today as we speak in most of the people's homes. And we are trying to convince our mayors and our governments and all the global institutions to say, listen to what your consumers who live informally want, because they are also part of your market. So we have amazing partnerships with cement companies, with people who are working in the tin industry, people who are producing new carbon emission-less materials. We're working with technology providers from global to local levels to look at how very specific local innovations produced locally through dialogue, because the commercial world does that with their consumers. spend a lot of time in your R&D doing that. And we're saying, we will appropriate that. We will make everybody work with us to produce these things so that they can come to global arrangements and become a critical market. Because one of the other things is that if today there are 2 billion people living in this condition, in the next 10 years, another 200 billion will join them as climate refugees, and there is no special research to know where they are going to go. They are going to come into the informal settlements, which we, as the elite and in our cities, have just ignored and marginalized. So there are a lot of things that will come on the back of this, but the most important thing is to make poor people aware that they are stakeholders in the transformation. And the more people who join this, elite, non-elite, informal, urban, rural, north, south, the more transformation there will be. So the sister campaign for Roof Over Our Heads in the Global South is called Retrofitting for Resilience in the North, because there are lots of people living in government housing which is in very poor condition in terms of energy and resilience. So that's what we're going to do. And we believe that we are consumers, we can make demands, and we can create a market.
Okay, so now let me take you through Ru's journey that we have accomplished in the last 1.5 years. So till now, we have conducted 5 roundtables in different regions of the globe. The journey started with the first roundtable in August 2022. And the roundtable conversations for the Roof for Our Heads campaign were essential in finding potential partners and recognizing their distinctive contributions to us. So they provided us, so these roundtable discussions gave us an opportunity to interact with different partners, gain different insights into potential contributions to the campaign. And the dialogue the campaign seeks to identify with these organizations have opened us a lot of collaborative and other supports throughout our journey. So we had conducted roundtables in European, USA, LAC, MENA, all these regions. And during the Roof Over Our Head campaign was launched at COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. And it just before the campaign was launched, we also initiated our RU labs in India. In phase 1 of the RU labs, we had conducted 9 labs in India with different experts and community members, with our Women's Federation group that we have active in India to devise innovative housing approaches. We conducted these labs based on the 5 climatic zones, and they targeted urgent issues of the climate change during extreme weather events. And the outcomes were documented and presented at COP28, underscoring the imperative of immediate action. So this campaign, as always, Sheila mentions that we want to have conversation with everybody, and this campaign seeks to change the architecture of these engagements that are done. So we have this campaign as a women-centric process that we follow. And all of these that we have done so far serves to test the waters for the potential partnership and collaborations throughout. And recently, just to bring to the notice, we had started our first phase 2 labs in India that we had successfully completed with the Women's Federation, the Mahila Milan in India, as well as our co-founding partner of the campaign, Arab. So yeah, let's move forward. And here I would like to introduce grassroots speakers. Now I would like to introduce Christine Mutuku, who is the community mobilizer and serving at SDI. And she's based in Kenya, and she is actively engaged in community mobilization efforts. She has facilitated initiatives, and she's dedicated advocate for equitable access to land, housing, and essential services within the community. Christine, please.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Christine.
Okay. Okay, my name is Christine Mwelu. I come from Kenya, an informal settlement known as Mukuru. And Mukuru was declared a special planning area because of the works that we as community we do. And for the project of roof over our heads, we as Kenyan people who live in the informal settlement, we embraced it. And we embraced it because of the challenges that we will go through the roof. And I want to say that everyone lives under a roof, but it will depend on which kind of a roof that you are living in. And as I want to say that in the informal settlements, our roofs are so different. You will find that we have a roof of iron sheet, we have a roof of a plastic, we have a roof of wood, and everyone needs to be in a safe place whereby if it comes the time of raining, you are not disturbed. But when I look on the people who are living in the informal settlement, when it comes the time of raining, people are being rent inside their roofs. And it is because of these poor materials, as you heard it from Sheila. What kind of materials do we have to put on our roofs? They are the second one, the recycled ones, because we don't have that capacity. We don't have that money to buy the first quality. So because of the economy that is pulling us down because of the climate change, which has affected us in one way. There is no food. So many people live in this informal settlement. And when we talk about the roof that we are in, we said we as women, we cannot keep quiet. We said it is our high time to stand and to talk and to present our issues, because when we keep quiet, no one will know. I, Christine, alone, I cannot present roof alone. I have to work together with my women. And in Kenya, we use groups. We have brought women together to do savings so that we can reach a big number. And this report can be taken all over our informal settlements, which are in Kenya, because women, they need a change. And you cannot bring a change alone. You cannot convince the government what you are going through while you are alone. But as multitude, men, women, working together, telling their problems, let me tell you, everyone will understand and will know exactly these women, they need something to be done in their roofs. And another challenge is about the land. We don't own the land. Many people who live in the informal settlement don't own the land. But we say as long as we live in this informal settlement, even if we don't own this land, we also need services. We need water. We need clean, pure water. We need something that can exactly push the women. So I say thank you, because we are welcoming you to know more about the roof. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you for joining us today. Now I would like to introduce Ruby Haddad. Ruby is having 30 years of experience in community organizing, training, education, and government coordination aspects. She's a national coordinator to Homeless People's Federations in Philippines. She excels in participatory research mapping and planning, and she manages all HPFPI's program, saving initiatives, and network building and mapping, community upgrades and planning. Ruby, welcome you today, and I leave the floor to you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm Ruby from the Homeless People's Federation. And thank you for also inviting us to be one of the panelists of this campaign. And also we have a lot to learn about through campaign, and even we had already in our mind about the climate change, but it needs more deeper understanding on what are the small initiatives that could also lead to a bigger solutions to the ground. So I think being here and can also share about our experience in the RU campaign here in Manila. I would greatly be sharing it and how the Federation also doing to also address the issue of climate change effects to the informal settlement. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruby. So now that you might have already seen that we had organized a workshop in Wholesome with Homeless People's Federation, and we have Zoe Sibala from Wholesome Philippines, who is the Senior Vice President and Chief Sustainability Officer. She is a strategic leader and is working in Wholesome since quite some time. And she used to be formerly the Vice President of Strategy. And she has navigated marketed challenges adeptly. And she has generously shared her video with us. Because of her prior commitments, she couldn't join us today. So I would request Nihar to please play the video.
Wholesome Philippines is very happy to host and continue the campaign of Roof Over Our Heads in the Philippines. It is very timely because we also have a huge housing gap, and all the more a huge shortage for decent and affordable homes for vulnerable and displaced communities. So it ties very well with the campaign of RU globally and in India, which started in India, into the Philippines. In July last year, we brought together different stakeholders, housing organizations, NGOs working with vulnerable and displaced communities, the academe, and private companies like Wholesome supported this to find out and do a discovery on the needs of specific communities, displaced and vulnerable families, low-income families, to understand the needs and in the end, develop a solution and that's where Wholesome Philippines expertise comes in, our know-how on innovative solutions, and develop an innovative yet resilient, durable, and affordable home for low-income families. So we visited 3 very different communities, from the very insecure communities where there is no land security, where families or communities have been moved from one place to another because there is no definite ownership, to a community who finally were able to secure land through community savings and through a cooperation with the local government unit. They have varying needs, but the difference between these communities and their situation gave us some insights on what is important, what is a priority, and how do we then develop a solution that best fit the criteria in terms of affordability and access to locally available materials, and of course, the build of a durable and disaster resilient home. So for certain communities, there really are communities that cannot afford. And for these types of communities, especially those that do not have security of land, they really cannot afford homes. But there is also that segment of the population who can afford. And we tried to look at that price point which satisfies the need, satisfies the ability to finance a home, at the same time fit within a proper build. So we try to bring together financing capability, the technical solution, and materials available locally. So those are the insights that we gathered from these communities. And yes, we really have to decide on, there are really just certain segments whom we can serve, if we are to provide an affordable home that can be built by low-income families. It was really amazing to discover that there are, from Wholesome Philippines and a private organization who basically are catering to hardware stores, institutional customers, and it was inspiring to know these organizations that really are focused on empowering communities to save, organizing communities to save as a community, so to help each other out, so they are able to build also as a community. They are an important partner to ensure that they take care of each other, and the build also impacts the entire community and not just the individual homeowner. So they play a significant role in training, empowering, and capacitating families in order to save and instill that discipline to set aside, despite the meager incomes they have, to be able to eventually build a home. So each organization has their own expertise, and it was really inspiring and amazing to just bring together and harness the synergies and expertise of different organizations.
Okay, so now we can dive into the most innovative part of the session, that I would like to introduce the phase 2 of the Roof for Our Heads campaign. The phase 2 of the campaign focuses on workshops and training for trainers sessions, exploring existing innovative solutions for which are locally available materials, and also alternative materials to mitigate climate change impacts on informal settlements. So currently, like a week ago, we had completed our lab in Surat, and we had Arab with us in that, and like we had engaged participant in practical activities. We have conducted demo of the materials that were suggested by Arab, and there were discussions that aimed to build capacity within the community, notably among women, the contractors, the artisans and masons within the settlement. And by fostering these local solutions and research, we seek to replace vulnerabilities with innovative design and techniques.
So this image is frozen.
Siddhi, we can't hear you.
Siddhi's image is frozen. Nihar, can she shift to your?
Yeah, just.
Oops.
We can continue from this.
Apologies for this. Sometimes the internet does this to
I'm
us.
sorry for this inconvenience. I'd just like to now showcase you the phase 2 of the Surat lab that we have completed.
Last year, we had gone to Surat and conducted a survey in Khadi Basti,
a slum settlement, and were disheartened to see the poor housing conditions that the residents were living in. Many of the houses had broken floors, walls made of different materials, and some even lacked a proper roof. Upon speaking with the residents, we learned that they had to spend money every year on their homes. We surveyed 15 such houses to gather more information. This year, we embarked on phase 2 of our project to address these housing issues. Till now, we have talked about what can be done, what can happen, how will we do it, and now how we will start in phase 2. This year, we went back on the 6th, told them that we are going to conduct a 2-day workshop here regarding your house, about how your house can be made. Arab, who are architects and engineers, have joined us in room. They will tell us this is our roof and what material to use so that it does not leak, does not heat up, or gets too cold. They are our partners and they will work with us to go house to house to identify solutions with the help of the local community and local people. We will take local knowledge and add their knowledge and come up with solutions for these houses whose data we have already collected. We will have two options here. Either we demolish and construct a new house totally, the other is retrofitting. Whichever is better for structural stability, climate change, environment. And how do we build that? But we also need to know the capacity of the people to build their own house. There will be training for you as well as for them, and we will understand from them and identify how we can make it in a simple way. You have told us how the method of how this work has to be done, and we will work accordingly. How to explain this to people, how to talk about the condition of their house, the materials that have been used. We will explain that we do the construction, but we do not know whether this will increase or reduce the heat or cold and what we have to do in the rains. We will also explain to them in the same manner about the materials. There are lots of materials, but what are the qualities of different materials? What are the benefits of using them? We have to tell them. Then, how do we have to work with the people? We will work with the 15 houses, but we have to work together with the whole settlement. And we also have to work with the masons, laborers, and the vendors from whom we go and get the materials. When we start anything new, it takes time and effort to explain to the community what we are doing. For example, if we complete any one house and they feel this is very good, better than what they had, then they will come with us. But for this,
I'm sorry, everyone. I think there's a lag in the video. I apologize for this. There's some connection glitch from our end. Neha, can you please replay it from the same minute?
I think it's okay. Just go ahead. Don't waste time.
Okay.
I'll put that video link in the chat box.
Yeah. Don't waste time. Because
Yes. So now, to take this forward, I would like to introduce Srirang Agrawal, who was with us throughout the workshop, who is a senior engineer in Arab. And he's a skilled engineer with 13 plus years of experience in the field. And he has his expertise in value engineering and project bidding, planning, and cost estimation and the process of development. And he has also shared his video with us for this session. Neha, can you please play it? So the video that Srirang has shared with us, we have incorporated all our the workshop snips, the demo that we did on ground with the contractors and the community members. So yes.
Hello everyone. I am Srirang Agrawal, a senior structural engineer at Arup India, based in Mumbai office. Joining me are my colleagues Akshaya Kannan from our London office and Puneet Kumar from Delhi office. Together, we are proud to represent Arup in the RU campaign, led by Sheila Patel, and our team is led by Soumya Parthasarthi and Nigel Tongs. Arup is a global firm of designers, planners, engineers, and consultants known for our innovative projects across the world. With our 40 years of experience in India, we provide a wide range of professional service, making a real difference to our clients and communities. Our involvement in ROO campaign began at COP27, led to our engagement in the Rasulabad lab in Surat. Rasulabad is an informal settlement facing numerous challenges, including heat, rain, flood, light, ventilation, and hygiene issues. To address these challenges, our team classified them into climate and human related categories. We then researched locally available materials, considering factors like affordability and accessibility. Materials like cardboard, plastic bottles, and tarpaulin were identified for their suitability and cost effectiveness. Our focus initially was on tackling the issues of heat, prevalent in Rasulabad during the summer months. Traditional solutions like high ceilings and vegetations were impractical for informal settlement. Instead, we explored innovative ways to insulate roof using layered materials. Through simulations and testings, we developed a sandwich panel solution that reduced indoor temperature significantly, while also addressing the water leakage during the monsoon season. For flood mitigation, we recommended raising plinths and improving floor slopes. Ventilations and lighting solutions such as jolly walls and passive lighting systems were also proposed to enhance living conditions. Our engagement with the community was positive, as our solutions were simple, affordable, and feasible for self-implementation. By empowering the community with sustainable and low carbon solutions, we aim to create lasting positive impact. In conclusion, our work in ROO campaign exemplifies Arup's commitment to addressing complex challenges through innovation and collaboration. We look forward to continuing our efforts to improve the lives of communities worldwide. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to sharing more insights from our ongoing initiatives.
So, because Srirang has joined us, also he was able to join us today. So now, Srirang, would you like to say some add to this?
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Sheila. Hi. Nice to meet you after a long time.
Yes.
So our last week's workshop at Rasulabad was actually the actual what we have been collaborating from past few months and closely working with Nihar and Siddhi, understanding and coming up with some ideas there. It was a very good, I can say, a very productive workshop. And the important part of that workshop was, which is one of the objective, or I can see one of the aim of the whole campaign was the inclusiveness, the commitment of these people, coming together with us. And we all, whoever present there in that workshop, along with me, Nihar, my team, we have seen that the transition of the emotions, during the presentation time and when the actual that sample panel was getting built up. So initially, we only started with making that with my team and then Nihar and all. And slowly, when it started taking shape, you can see that in the video as well. More people started joining in, and after that, when we have a session of asking or their feedback and all this thing, so it was so good that people came up with the more ideas, more solutions. And it happens only when they are together, they are with us, and they believe on us. So that I can see is one of the good thing, that they believed on us, they and they commit themselves, or they committed kind that they will really look forward on implementing this actually in one of their house. So I'm really excited to see that. Until that, I'm holding my nerves because unless and until it gets built, as an engineer, it's always in our heart that whatever we have done on paper, and when we see it on the site, there we can say that everything is digested now. Still, that it keeps on moving in the stomach. So it's something like that. But I have expressed this to the routine there itself, that the transition of emotions, you can see the emojis in the line, where the first emojis during the presentation was, what is this? And slowly when it gets transited, and we have those in our recordings, the interviews of those peoples, that happiness was seen. Some of them was continuously saying, that no, this is doable. No, this is doable. We'll do it. I will do it. People were coming up with more thoughts. How they will do it? That was something which I think our focus was. It was nothing that we will tell them and they have to do it. It was something we'll just give them an idea, which they must be knowing. But it was just a confidence which we wanted to give from our technical expertise to them. And that happened. But I'm really looking forward that how this gets built up, and the objective of RU of giving them benefits, or giving them more good life, should come into picture. Thank you, Sheila, for this.
Thank you, Srirang. So now Nihar, who is the technical lead to the campaign and who would like to share some experiences with us. Nihar, can you please?
Thank you, Sunny. I'll not take much time, but I share Shirang's excitement, and maybe I'm more excited because this is the first execution of the phase 2 of the RU campaign, and this is exactly what we had planned and what we had envisaged long time, Sheila and I and the team, what we were thinking about, how do we do this, how do we structure this, and it came out beautifully, successfully. We have been able to implement this very quickly. I would just like to say that we had been exploring the local solutions, and it was very important for us and people to identify that the local solution which we have proposed is 5 times more cheaper, and it is 3 times more resilient to the natural disaster. It is prone to extreme heat, water resilient, and also the panel which we had. I'll not get into the details. We can share that eventually. But the sandwich panel which we created together with the team, which has the tin roof and all the material which was locally procured by the people, for which they did not have to spend a single penny. The panel was so stuffed that Srirang and myself stood on it to check the durability and the stability of it. So all these things, and as Srirang already mentioned, yes, we were very excited. We were very happy to see people and communities participating in it. And just to add to this, we would also like to share that the team of the local contractors who we invited to share their experiences and their skills with us, they also took this, they took the ownership of constructing their own houses with this panel, which was seen as a solution. So it is a big achievement for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Nihar. Now I think we can open the floor for discussions. So, yeah, Sheila.
First of all, I think our whole team is so excited with every time we see practical action that demonstrates the values that we put together. I remember, Sriram, when you and your team with Nigel and Soumya came, Nigel said, what can we do? We do different things in our day-to-day lives. How can we contribute? And what you have said and what you have done and the way in which you have worked with the team demonstrates for us the power of collective imagining and action. And I think that if we can work out ways by which we can inspire many more young people to use their skill sets, not full time, but in whatever resource time that they have as partners to people. The other thing which I think is very exciting about this process has been that we haven't taken something that's from the moon and said this is some new high tech stuff. In every place, every lab, people have used different forms of this sandwich mechanism. And what you have done is systematized it. And over a period of time, we hope to produce this as a material that people who can pay for this material as a beam or as a slat that they can put up, they do it themselves, they can do it this way. So I think that the phase 2 of our work, you have achieved 3 things, I think, as a team. And now, Srirang, whether you like it or not, you're part of this team, is that we've created a architecture of how you prepare for something, you actually do it, and then you do the follow-up. And we have 8 labs in India to do this, and we have to start working in another 5 countries, which is our goal for this year. And you soon have to scout for your colleagues in different places to do that, just as we heard from Wholesome that they're also going to try and do. So I think that from our side, I think that what we want to share with everybody is we are going to initiate or trigger labs, but we encourage both urban and rural groups who are interested to look at what we are doing and develop it themselves. We are open to all of you. We will not hide what we do as our copyrighted stuff. No, it's going to be open. It's like a recipe that will be available. We will do even more detailed demos when these things happen, so that more and more people can explore this once we have tested these things out. So I want to stop here, but say that this is an exciting beginning for the work that we are doing. And we encourage more and more people who are on this call or who will subsequently look at what we are doing here to say that they'd like to do something like this. We're also trying to look at all the material that we have and make it available in different languages. So if you want something in Bangla or you want something in Bhasa or in Tagalog, we'll try and do that because we want to disseminate this more and more. So back to you, Siddhi.
Yes, Sheila. So now that we have one question in the chat box about waste management is one of the important factor or component. Would you please mention any waste management system of your project or program from Shirley Akhtar? So, Nihar, do you want to answer that?
I can do
Or
that.
Shira also, if you would like to, because
if you actually saw all the materials that were compiled, and Srirang, you can give the testimony to it, that every single thing there was a waste product. The bottles, everything, the cardboard, the sponge, everything was a waste material. So directly, one of the things that we are doing is we are also working directly with the global and national network of waste pickers. And we are hoping that these building materials that emerge from upcycling waste into good quality alternate material is one way of dealing with waste that should otherwise not go into landfills. I think the other very important thing for us to do is to work very closely with our municipalities to encourage and to develop some forms of positive incentives that are available to communities to do this. Because in the work that we are doing in India, for instance, it is very clear that women's collectives, once they understand the connection between waste, both biodegradable and non-degradable, and what happens when it just lies there and it produces rodents and insects and mosquitoes, we've begun a relationship with the local municipal office to ensure that it gets collected and that we work. So I think a very big part of this is reuse whatever you can, recycle whatever you can, and whatever is not recyclable or not reusable, you work closely with your municipality or your duty bearer in whichever council or municipality that you have to get it picked up. Because in every municipality in the world, 60 to 70% of its expenditure goes in collecting and transporting waste. So communities are entitled, they have a right, whether they are legal or illegal, for their waste to be picked up. And it's important that those of us who work in urban areas work closely with municipalities to make this happen. And so all the communities that you have watched on these videos are doing that with their municipality. They send WhatsApp messages when things are not picked up. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, so I think we have some time left. So I think it'll be good if we can very quickly show a video where we share the aspirations of the local masons and contractors who participated in the workshop. And there's something what they have to say and how they would want to adapt to this. So I would request Indu to very quickly share the video. Thank you. Indu, we can't hear the video.
I
It's
think
not audible.
adding it to that place.
Sorry, I'll start sharing again. Sorry, my mistake. I didn't share the sound.
Sure, no worries.
Conditions that the residents were living in. Many of the houses had broken floors, walls made of different materials, and some even lacked a proper roof. Upon speaking with the residents, we learned that they had to spend money every year on their homes. We surveyed 15 such houses to gather more information. This year, we embarked on phase 2 of our project to address these housing issues. Till now, we have talked about what can be done, what can happen, how will we do it, and now how we will start in phase 2. This year, we went back on the 6th, told them that we are going to conduct a 2-day workshop here regarding your house, about how your house can be made. Arab, who are architects and engineers, have joined us in room. They will tell us this is our roof and what material to use so that it does not leak, does not heat up, or gets too cold. They are our partners and they will work with us to go house to house to identify solutions with the help of the local community and local people. We will take local knowledge and add their knowledge and come up with solutions for these houses whose data we have already collected. We will have two options here. Either we demolish and construct a new house totally, the other is retrofitting. Whichever is better for structural stability, climate change, environment. And how do we build that? But we also need to know the capacity of the people to build their own house. There will be training for you as well as for them, and we will understand from them and identify how we can make it in a simple way. You have told us how the method of how this work has to be done, and we will work accordingly. How to explain this to people, how to talk about the condition of their house, the materials that have been used. We will explain that we do the construction, but we do not know whether this will increase or reduce the heat or cold and what we have to do in the rains. We will also explain to them in the same manner about the materials. There are lots of materials. But what are the qualities of different materials? What are the benefits of using them? We have to tell them. Then, how do we have to work with the people? We will work with the 15 houses, but we have to work together with the whole settlement. And we also have to work with the masons, laborers, and the vendors from whom we go and get the materials. When we start anything new, it takes time and effort to explain to the community what we are doing. For example, if we complete any one house and they feel this is very good, better than what they had, then they will come with us. But for this, we will have to work very hard. Still, women had a lot of questions. It would be better if we had pakka houses. So we told them that it takes a lot of money to make pakka houses, and you all can't spend that much money. You have used all these different materials in the house. Using the same materials, how can we make our roof better? We came back on the 26th, and with us, engineers and architects from Arup was also there. Our aim is to use our expertise, the engineering knowledge that we have. We are not going to do anything new. Based on what we already know, how do we deal with the situation about heat in the houses or leakage in the rains or flooding due to rains with locally available materials? How do we tackle these issues? This will be our main input for this project. Arab team visited and spoke to the households that we had surveyed. They saw the houses, they saw 8 to 10 houses and went in and talked to the people, talked about their issues, what materials they have used, and gathered all information. It would get wet during the rains. We salvaged tiles from reconstruction sites where people threw away old tiles. There is no concrete. We just put the cement over sand and put the tiles. They said there will be a demonstration tomorrow and they will tell us about the material that we can use to build the house. Contractors and masons were also invited, and the team from Arab showed them on the screen how a particular house was and how it was for us.
Why is it frozen again?
Indu, the video is frozen again.
Maybe while you work on this, you can ask Ruby and
Yes.
Christine their responses, and then you can start it if we still have time.
Ruby, so as you've already mentioned in the chat that we are already doing the pilots in Venezuela City in Manila. Can you share your insights and your insights on the workshop that we have done in India? So
It's
that can be
very
taken up
very
in Manila.
inspiring about the video happening in India. Because I can relate because most of our community situations they are the same, but here in Philippines, most of our community are also residing in a very vulnerable areas wherein the use of their materials is very light and prone to the effects of the climate change. The reason why they are not investing also for their houses is because of the insecure land. So if you have an insecure land, you are also thinking of if you are investing and you will be demolished, so it's also waste of their on their finances. So I think the one that happening the workshop, it's a big help because Holcim, different representative from different countries was there, and Holcim Philippines also, Zoe Angel is there. We see the different issues and conditions of the community, and try to pilot to one new house and one retrofitting house, because one of the community they visited is affected by the reblocking. So they secured already the land, but in terms of upgrading the site, because they are there for how many years, and they don't have really a good plan in which the fire truck can get inside. So they agreed to do reblocking. So they visited that area, and the challenge of the community is they have a hard time to rebuild the side of the houses that being torn down. And then Hulsing Philippines, because of their expertise, they are also offering some techniques and technologies that could lower the cost, and might also help to demonstrate in the community on how they will rebuild their houses with a small, not so costly, but also durable. So now we are finalizing the terms of reference of different parties to undertake this kind of development in Valenzuela City. So I think the connecting with these global and local platforms like RU and other climate change advocacy help our community in addressing their vulnerable situation. For example, this bilateral agreement can encourage some of the parties like local government and other private institutions to join, and to also really help the situations of the vulnerable communities now especially in Manila. And with this experience, the community can try to demonstrate more and scalable solutions within the community. So I think it's a big help, and we still try to understand how the city labs can be happening in Manila. Thank you.
Well
Thank
said.
you, Ruby. Yes, sorry, Sheila.
No, I said, we have to acknowledge and tell everybody that Ruby has coordinated a multi-city program for the Asian Coalition of Housing Rights and has long experience of supporting engagement with the city and blending finances to do this. But through RU, we are trying to bring this to a much lower level. And we also want to highlight in this process the reality that all of us for the last 30, 40 years have been fighting, like Christine said, for land tenure. But if you look, whether it is through the Global Land Tool Network or through UN Habitat's work or our own work, we find that, I'm just putting on my video. We find that we have not actually succeeded in getting a substantial number of people with tenure. And yet they continue to live in the situation and conditions in which they live. And they have to survive that until such time that they do get. So you can't wait for tenure before you upgrade your homes because of extreme weather. And that, for me, is a real challenge that we have to represent in both the development and the climate space, that people are going to keep coming into the city to survive. And national and regional and local governments have to find a new way to provide them security and basic amenities, while we all struggle to work out more affordable, robust, resilient materials for their homes. So I think, Ruby, you have a big contribution to make to this process, as does Christine. Christine, can you come and talk about your huge challenges that you're facing in Mukuru and all the women that you have brought together waiting for us to come and set up your own team to take the roof over our head process forward? So over to you, Christine.
Okay. I think now you can see me.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I want to say that the challenges that we are going in Mukuru, okay, let me try to minimize. Yes, the challenges that we are going in Mukuru, there are so many. And as I said that we as women, through the roof of our head, the meetings that we held, because I've been bringing women together, let's talk about the challenges that we are going through. And one of the best place is in the roof of our heads. This is the best place ever I've seen, bringing women together and talking about the challenges that we are going through. Now, for example, when I talk about sanitation in Mukuru, when I talk about electricity, it is so poor. The connection of electricity, because of the houses and the poor planning. One thing that I want you to know is about in the informal settlement, there is no planning. Everybody builds his house or our house, whatever you are able to do it. We ourselves, we block the drainages. Why? Because the people who are ahead of us, when you go to talk to the chief, he'll just extend your house, so you will block the ways whereby you used to get a good drainage. We block it. When I talk about the collection of the garbages, yes, we are doing our level best to see that the government come in and collect our garbages, wherever we put them. But another big challenge is, where can we dump the waste so that we can talk to the count and come to collect our waste? So it is also another challenge for the community. We do mobilization, we do have the best advocacy that we want our garbages to be collected. But the big challenge is, when you reach the count, they give you all kinds of excuses that we are coming, and we are coming, and we are coming, and they are not coming. So the day that they will come, even the vehicle that they are using, it will not manage to collect all of it. So we said, we as women, we are going to do some sorting of the garbages, joint with the youth. And through that, we have managed to reach the youth. The youth are doing the sorting, they are doing the recycling, and out of the waste, we have managed to get money. So I'm trying also to answer the question about waste management. So through our waste, we are also making money, because when the challenges come, we know how to challenge the challenge. We have to create a way and see which way out we are going to see the answer for us. We have accepted that we are living in the informal settlement. When we talk about water, I said that Mukuru was declared to be a special planning area. We as women, we said it is only women who suffer a lot. And that's why I'm advocating for sanitation, the washroom, whereby we need water to wash our clothes, to cook our food with clean water. We did our advocacy, and the government came in and dug some boreholes, whereby now the community can collect the water with a cheap amount of money. And some areas it is free, and other areas it is not free. So when I talk about roof of our heads, we are looking about the materials. What kind of a house, Christine, do I live in? I live in a house, my walls are muddy, my roof is iron sheet. When it is too hot, I look for where to go. Where can I sit? And let me tell you, our informal settlement, they are so congested. They are so congested till you cannot have a space outside your house to sleep. So you'll just suffer inside the house because it is too hot. What kind of a floor do we have? Sometimes we have a floor whereby we have no cement. Some floors have cement, others have tiles. So we have different kinds of floors, but not everybody can manage to have that good floor in your house. I said the challenge is about land tenure. But we said, because we are living in the informal settlement, we will make sure that the government knows there are people who are living in the informal settlement. We will shout through roof of our head. We will bring change in our informal settlement through roof of our head, because it is we as women who are supposed to stand on the gap. Now I say thank you Sheila, for phase 2. Because when you come to phase 2, you will sit down with the women, listen to the women, how they are beaten by their husbands, when they put their money in their own banks, how their husbands kicks them and breaks them, gets the money, use the money, children are sleeping without food. So this is the best campaign for women, the best campaign for people who are living in the informal settlement. We need a good house. And through the research that we are going to do, through roof of our head, let me tell you, in Kenya, I know women will get good houses. Why? We are bringing women together. They are putting small amount of money in their savings, and we are encouraging women to keep on saving small by small, and we are going to change our lives. I say women are so powerful. Women are so, women know how to express their problems. We don't keep quiet. We shout. We say we are tired of using the teen inside our house to go for the short call and also sometimes for the long call. So we need a good sanitation. We need water. We need electricity. We don't want gender-based violence in our community. And who is going to stop all these problems? The woman who is living in the informal settlement. So I say, rain season, it is also becoming a challenge to us when it comes to the time of flooding. Many houses just end out this water because I said there is no planning in the informal settlement. The people who live in the estate, they don't know what I mean by about flooding. You are sleeping with your children, and I said the houses that we use, they are very small, 10 by 10 feet. That is where you sleep with your husband and your children. So sometimes when the water comes inside the house, let me tell you, our children just wakes up and start screaming, "Mom, the house is full of water." So when we talk about roof over our head, there are many challenges which we are facing. And it is only we as women to come up and to say, enough is enough. We have to bring a change and bring the government down, whatever they are, to come down. Now, for example, in Kenya, our president is saying that he's building affordable houses. The affordable houses starts from 1 million going ahead. In Kenya, Nakuru, we have a very good plan. And we are challenging the government right now because we are building a house of 2 bedrooms, a sitting room with a good toilet, and we need the services of water, electricity. And our money is half of that. When you have 1 million or 800,000 Kenyan money, you will get a good house. Now we are challenging the government and telling them, you are not building the houses for the poor. You are still building the houses for the rich people. So roof over our head is bringing us up, making the women talk, bring a change in our informal settlement, because we are here to bring a change. The materials, the things that you have heard my friends talking about them, we have to know how are we going to get the better materials, because these some of the materials, the iron sheet, when we get the second hand, we build our houses. After 2 years, we need again to renovate our house because the roof is still raining. I say that we need to come to this phase 2, come with it in Kenya and listen to the women and see the houses that we are going to change.
I think we have lost you, Christine.
But this was an amazing, Christine is an amazing speaker. When we were at COP, she inspired so many people in the reporting session that we had. I think you should put that as well here if you can. I'd like now to, in the little time that we have left, to have some of the people who have patiently been in this audience to share some of what their responses are, if they have any suggestions for us. I see that we have some people who are from, we see a friend from Poland, Hubert. We know that there are many people in Europe living in very difficult conditions in homes that require serious retrofitting to deal with both the energy challenges and leakages and other things. So it would be interesting for us because we don't believe that the crisis of habitat is only southern, but there are people in the north as well. So if any of you can share some of your experiences, if you don't have questions, then that would be a nicer way to wrap up this last 10 minutes. Can I invite some of you to speak, please? Margaret, what about you?
I think we will have to shift them because the controls will not allow them. They can't see the unmute button.
Uh-oh. So maybe you can shift everybody into the panel.
The host can unmute, I think. Who's the host?
Fatim, can you do?
Yes,
Yes,
I'm
I can
shifting
unmute.
them
Yeah.
to the.
Because this is what we want. I think the next time we shouldn't have this. We should just have like a round table like we usually do because we want people to participate. So we're trying to look at ways by which we make all of you panelists, if we can, and then see if we can. Have you turned anybody into, you've had some more panelists?
Sheila,
Yeah,
I think I had a
We
problem
have
with the.
Hubert.
Can I
yeah.
finish my presentation?
Yes, you can finish your presentation. While you were away, I was asking all the people who have been patiently listening to us to also talk to us. So while we make them into panelists, you can bring closure to your presentation.
Okay. So another thing that I wanted to talk about is in our when we talk about roof, another challenge that we have is fire outbreaks because our houses are just made of wood and iron sheet. We face a lot of challenge through the fire outbreaks. And that's a big challenge for the roof of our head. Another challenge that we face again through roof of our head is eviction without notices. Because we live in the informal settlements, we find that we are evicted, we are not given a notice. So we keep on crying and running around to see how we can stop all these notices. But you find that people have lost their houses, they have lost their things. And through the eviction, I do remember in Mukuru, there are people also who lost their lives. Another challenge is about the health. We have many standard growth in our informal settlement because of the poor quality of what we feed our children. And another thing is about the white kind of the hospitals, because we said we need the services from the government. So we need good hospitals and also with a lot of medicine and the qualified doctors and the nurses. The other thing is about the lack of good food is something that we are facing a lot in the roof of our head. As you have seen this video, which I was looking at it in India, you can just tell what kind of a life these people are living in. And it was not good. And it is our high time people to support the women and to support the roof of our head to see a change. The other time, as we will be holding a meeting like this one, or a conference like this one, we want to present something good through roof of our head. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Hubert, I can see your hand raised. Would you like to share something?
So I would like to tell something. Do you hear me? Because you hear me, yes? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you very well.
So I don't have material to share, but I would like to tell you some. So first of all, I think that what you do could be inspiring, especially because of upcycling the wastes. That it is something what I would say that in the northern country we have forgotten how to do. We partially do it, and there are some situations which were more like for example, that in richer countries in North, people were changing windows, and then they were, for example, I'm in Poland, from Poland, and Poland joined European Union 20 years ago, and it was so that
Oh, we've lost you. So while Hubert is trying to come back, Hubert and I sit together in an event, and I want to say that he has played an amazing role in working with Ukrainian families that have come and crossed the borders and built schools and centers for them. So Hubert, at some point, our network would love to hear more about what's happening there, but just continue.
Okay, so maybe you have a bit over exaggerated what I have done. So it was so that we are together in a round table of New European Bauhaus, and there is also Japanese architect Shigeru Ban, who is developing different humanitarian architecture solution. And when the Russian war against Ukraine has escalated 2 years ago, he proposed to use his solution. It is paper partition system. So when people are housed in the very big halls or in schools, they can get a bit of intimacy by partitioning the one family from each other. And I was engaged in implementing that in Poland for the refugees from Ukraine, and also sending it to Ukraine, where our friends has implemented there in places, and then I know some examples from Ukraine which take place, but I was not prepared to make presentation now. But what is what I started from this recycling, that in the beginning of 21st century it was quite popular, that it is still quite popular, that Polish firm or people are going to Germany to make the renovation, and it was quite often that when they were changing windows, the used windows from Germany were taken to Poland to be put in the houses. And now there is an initiative, Brda Foundation, where they are sending the used windows from Poland or other country to Ukraine to let people use them by rebuilding their houses. And there is also one village which was nearly totally destroyed in by Russians during the war, and then this foundation have sent them the windows from the dismantled office house in Warsaw, which was built in 90s, and where all the windows in this office house were pink. So in this village now there are like 80 pink windows in different houses, because they were taken from that. But what I think it is the important things to learn, when you said that you take on upgrading existing houses, even if they are in poor conditions, not for building something new from the scratch. That I know that when my country is getting richer, we theoretically have more climate consciousness, but in spite of that fact, we create more pollutions, because when we have more money, there is more tendency to replace the existing building by the other one. And I would say that the housing crisis is in at least in Poland is more different, that people we do not see many informal settlements. It is rather that, for example, people who do not have who are not rich enough or do not cannot afford a place to live, they live in the cellar, or they live in allotment gardens, because in Europe it is quite popular that people, apart from the house in the apartment in the house, they have some garden with small house when they go, and this house is thought more for to spend time to eat something using this garden, and in some cases people live in this garden in these houses.
You know, it's very interesting. When we first went to South Africa, our whole movement there began with what are called back shack dwellers. That means you have a big garden and people pay a small amount of money to build a little house at the back of your backyard. And so it was a big phenomena when it began during the apartheid period and has now begun to help people move away from that. Is there anybody else we can invite to speak? Thank you so much, Hubert. If there isn't anybody who wants to speak, then I think we should bring this session to a close. I want to thank everybody for coming and joining us, even though you were silent. Please look at the materials we put together. Let us know if we can communicate with you, if we can support you, assist you in any way to explore either this or other strategies in your neighborhood. We would love to do that. We are looking for anybody who already has solutions that we can explore to get in touch with us. Siddhi, you can put your email ID. Siddhi is the one who is in charge of looking at all our materials, doing all our research on these things. And we hope that you will put your addresses in this chat so that we can include you in the regular, materials that we give out for those who want to know about Roof Over Our Heads. Because this year we hope to grow this process. I heard somebody's voice. Anyway, so thank you very much. Thank you, ICAD, Atim and team, for all the support you have provided us. And we hope that as we continue our journey and we do webinars like this, that we will invite you. And Hubert, next time we'll give you some very important speaking things, because there are many things that you do which would be of interest to our group. So thank you very much. And with that,
Also, everyone, sorry, Sheila. Also, everyone, I would like to keep your cameras on just for us to take a screenshot at the end.
so Christine has to come in. Many more people have to come in. Can everybody?
All the attendees as well, because you are being given the rights to do it.
Can you just put on your
But there is a
video?
question that there are some people in the belt over when they have cameras on, but they are, so maybe it is the need to change the layout of the screen.
Right. Anyway, this is a way to learn, no? How. So some of you are there, some of you are not there. So let's take it of whoever is there. It's now 4 o'clock and it's time for us to close this process. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your.
Thank you very much,
Bye-bye.
everyone, for
Thank
joining
you,
us.
everybody. Thank you for taking out time on a Sunday to join our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Fatin, for supporting us throughout.
No, thank you for this insightful session. It was a really insightful and really excellent session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Siddhi, for all your help and all your support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.